Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the TV miniseries from Peacock, Meddling, and this is focusing on the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics ice skating controversy from director Todd, Kapostasy, and this focuses on this Canadian team who they spend a decent amount of the first episode setting up these two teams. You have this Canadian team, this young woman who's great image, was great in doubles, and needs to find a new partner and gets paired up with, he's charming, he's a little bit rough around the edges, but they perform the skating of their lives, and they expect the crowd goes nuts and everything, and they're facing off against the Russians, who are the big favorites, but they mess up a little bit in their performance. But all of a sudden, who gets the gold medal? The Russians. And then that's where we get the next 3 episodes focusing on how did that happen, why is this happening, and all the conjecture that you could possibly come up with. And this deals with the judging system, which based off of just, part of it's based off of a feeling. Which one did you prefer? And they talk a lot about blocking, as in groups of countries blocking together, and there's a lot of controversy around why France wound up supporting the Eastern Bloc, the Russian siding judges, and this miniseries focuses on the big spotlight that gets put on this young Canadian team, and they're thrown all over TV, at concerts, and they become big celebrities. And everybody's in an uproar over this performance and this meddling. And then you have all the focus that gets onto this French judge and her reputation and her perspective. And you get a lot of different perspectives from the judges, from the trainers on both sides, from the athletes, and it became such a big thing that it became like Russia versus Canada, East versus West, and you had these athletes stuck in the middle of it who didn't feel this animosity towards each other, but you had nations butting heads with each other. And you just have this high-profile spotlight put on everything, and there's a lot of conjecture in this documentary about what really happened. And was there meddling in it? Did something influence them? And I know the last episode goes into this whole entire thing about Russian mafia and all that kind of stuff. And, it's one of those kinds of things where it's this is a fine documentary. It has a lot of oh my god, could that have happened? Kind of stuff going on in it. I don't think this is the most objective or straightforward in terms of, I don't want to say classy, I don't feel like that's the right word, but this is kind of manipulative. It's just but what if it was the mafia? And what if it was this? What if it was this? And it's throwing around all these ideas, and none of it really feels proven. And it's just kind of well, this was a controversial thing, big high profile thing, people love the Olympics, let's shine a light on it and get some people to watch this documentary. And I watched it. It was pretty entertaining, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Is this something that I feel is a must-see documentary? Not necessarily, but if you're into sports or you like a good saucy kind of true crime, because that's how they started painting this, is a bit of a true crime documentary. If that's something that interests you, this might be for you. And head on over to stream it on Peacock. If not, this isn't gonna wow you in terms of its investigative perspectives or its filmmaking perspectives. It's just a pretty saucy story that has a lot to throw around at you. You have to do most of the heavy work and try to figure out, did these things really happen? But might be a fun watch for you. But those are my thoughts on Meddling. Let me know what you think. Let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.